Mr. Blutarski. 0.0. Now I want you to tell Mrs. Stratton and Mr. Schoenstein exactly what I'm about to tell you now.
What's that, sir?
You're out. Finished at Faber, expelled. I want you off this campus at 9 o'clock Monday morning.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
I don't know.
Even though Rick says he could disprove that theory. Great, John Vernon. Anyway, Animal House, a classic comedy that somehow turns, get this, 37 years old this year, feeling old right about now, about a fraternity that gets kicked off campus for being less than civilized, much like this panel after the show down at Lowe's on 43rd. The movie is tremendous, of course, but the issue of the behavior at college fraternities is becoming a serious one. Welcome back to the Daily Wrap. By now, everyone knows about the Sigma Alpha Epsilon, SAE, at University of Oklahoma doing a racist chant, which we will not play here. Well, as we mentioned last week, a Penn State fraternity is now under investigation for posting nude photos on a private Facebook page of unconscious women. Is it time to say goodbye to the Greek system on college campuses? Bill Maher says yes.
It always struck me as strange that college campuses are where political correctness is the most stringently enforced, and yet smack in the middle are frat houses, these little Vatican cities of depravity that seem to enjoy diplomatic immunity from civilization. There was a time when fraternities fit in with society as a whole, but that day is long gone.
Mr. Maher continues.
Of all the bad things fraternities do, the absolute worst is that they take young people at the exact moment when they should be learning to be individuals and turn them into shit-eating, orders-following group thinkers. Or maybe these guys all independently decided to wear shorts with a blazer and a bow tie.
Yeah, group thinkers, because that's not Bill Maher's audience or anything. Anyway, Adam Thompson, let's start with you. Were you in a fraternity, and should they go away?
Absolutely not. I'm the furthest guy to ever go in a fraternity. I love what Bill Maher said. I'm very big on independent thinking. I don't like the sheep in the herd mentality. I think that's what fraternities breed and what they promote, and what we see coming out of fraternities, particularly in the last several years, is nothing to be proud of. When people used to say they were in a fraternity, maybe it did have a different meaning at some point in time, but nowadays when you say it, the eyebrows go up, people roll their eyes, and they're like, oh really? It doesn't carry the same meaning that it used to. I wouldn't want to be part of it. My kid, I don't want being part of it. Bad idea. I would not lose sleep if they were gone tomorrow.
Interesting. Now, obviously, Heather, you weren't in a fraternity. Were you in a sorority?
I was not, but my school had a big sorority contingent, American,
right,
for undergrad, and then Villanova for law school they did too. Mm-hmm. But I do think that there's a tradition to it. I do think that these things happen on sports teams. You see hazing on sports teams. You know, it's bad apples. You see bad people in every community, and I think that the idea that by getting rid of fraternities we're going to get rid of it altogether, it just doesn't make any sense. I think that the business model, the market will take care of it if it must, because at some point schools' liability is going to be so high for these different events that they're not making enough money through the housing and through alumni donations that it will be in their best interest to not have fraternities anymore. But I don't think you should outlaw it or make them go away. I mean, they do a lot of good, and there's a lot of good people who are in these fraternities and sororities.
Mr. Unger.
Obviously, pundits are not fraternity sorority people. I wasn't a frat guy either.
Which is interesting because I visited Ohio State my sophomore year, and High Street, and there were 1,000 fraternities.
Oh, gotcha.
Like there is at any big state school.
It is. It's very big. It just wasn't. I used to go to ZBT for dinner on Friday night so I could play touch football with Jack Tatum.
Really?
Yeah, that was the only reason I went. I don't really care, though. I got to be honest with you. One advantage fraternities have is they live in much nicer houses than any apartment that I could afford or the dorms. Okay. So, you know, that aside, if they want to do it, they can do it. Just don't be jerks, which a couple of these fraternities have been behaving like. Otherwise, I just don't really care.
Yeah, I'm with Heather on this one. University of Maryland, Pi Kappa Phi, as I mentioned last week, lived in a house. The houses are not nicer than some apartments.
No.
Well, after
certain like it from the outside.
After certain events, but
okay.
It was nice. You know, you had a chef come every morning and every night and make you the food. And I still have friends to this day, obviously. But I have just as many friends I met in the dorm. I never based on, well, I only talk to my brothers kind of thing. Look, it's exactly what you said, that then you have to start banning sports teams also, because that's kind of a groupthink mentality as well, right? Put a bunch of guys and have a common cause. the banning of anything scares me, right?
I agree.
Well, I agree with that.
Yeah,
100%.
And Adam, and I made this point last week. It's not that these fraternities are getting any worse. It's because we have the ability to record things like never before.
There've always
And
been
as I said,
problems,
this is not just a camera; it's a satellite uplink.
Yeah.
So the minute I tape somebody doing something stupid, then like that, then I could put it out on my Twitter feed, and then it goes viral. And oh my God, what's happening at American fraternities? You know, before maybe you videotaped something and you destroyed the tape. Right? Or you took a picture and, well, that was just in a scrapbook that no one's ever going to see before. Now everybody sees the scrapbook. It's not that the behavior is getting worse, it's the technology is getting better. So I think we're overreacting in these situations. Obviously, SAA, University of Oklahoma, yeah, that's a horrible thing, and they're paying the price for it. Penn State, same thing, but it's no worse.
You got the good and bad in everything.
The good and the bad and the ugly. So coming up next, it's potluck time. This is the Daily Wrap, only on Newsmax TV.